When you think about businesses that are selling through the roof, like Aloe or Allbirds, sure, you think about a great product, a cool brand, and great marketing. But an often overlooked secret is actually the businesses behind the business, making selling, and for shoppers, buying, simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. Nobody does online business better than Shopify. It's home of Shop Pay, the #1 checkout in the world. You can use it to boost conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts going abandoned and way more sales going through to checkout. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/income, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/income to upgrade your selling today. That's shopify.com/income.
Whatever the occasion, effortless elegance is right this way. Because Hilton brings you new ways to stay courtesy of the Nomad London. And it doesn't stop at award-winning dining in a space draped in velvet and illuminated by vintage chandeliers. No, this day goes beyond with unparalleled personalized service and attentive hospitality. Oh, and did we mention the Nomad London can be booked using your Hilton Honors points at Hilton.com? Hilton, for the stay.
Hi, I'm Angelica Mari. This is Somewhere on Earth. I'm in São Paulo, Brazil, where we are recording this special edition on Friday, 25th of April, 2025. Joining me in the studio is editor Anya. Anya, are you enjoying Brazil? Welcome.
Thank you so much, Angelica. I flew in this morning, so I'm a little bit zombified, but I love Sao Paulo. I've been here before. I'm just regretting the weather, though. I seem to have brought this horrible drizzle and wetness.
I'm sorry we didn't
UK.
provide sunshine for you, Anya. We'll try and improve for you.
Please
well,
do.
As you've been hearing over the past few weeks, Somewhere on Earth has been on a bit of a road trip. Yes, the team has come to visit me in my beautiful yet drizzly country, and we've been finding out about what drives Brazil's technology sector. Much of our reporting has focused on business and especially startups. And many startups are spin-outs actually from university research. But these can only be created if the academic sector is producing new innovations and new research that can be taken to market. So can Brazil's educational institutions, especially its universities, compete on a global scale? To do so, they need the IT infrastructure to support their work. So joining me in the studio is Professor Ney Lemke from UNESP, São Paulo State University. He is the university's Director of Technology and is responsible for more than 34 campuses. Firstly, welcome, Professor, to Somewhere on Earth.
Okay, thank you very much for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here at São Paulo. I'm used to the weather anyway. It's called, how do you say that? Drizzly city or something like that, because it's...
That's how we roll, right?
Yeah. That's so... Sorry for that, but anyway, we are used to this.
We'll try and improve, right?
Yeah, try.
The title Director of Technology could mean many things, right? So what are your main responsibilities?
Many responsibilities, in fact. More or less, I'm the last guy to answer for anything related to informatics at UNESP. Anything. And it's my responsibility by the end of the day. So every systems, networks, if the electricity is going, it's working or not, if the telephone is working or not, it's all my responsibility by the end of the day. So I have to answer for everything.
So lots of complaints as well, but I imagine it must be fun because it's a huge estate, right?
It's a very funny thing because, I used to do theoretical physics. That's quite boring compared to that. So you have emotions most of the time. Every day you have many, many different emotions. Like today, you're always discussing different stuff with different people and more or less about everything. That's because informatics nowadays encompasses everything. So you have health, you have to discuss human resources, you have everything.
So a very varied day job you have. So you've been in charge of major technological changes at the university recently, right? So tell us about it.
Well, we have this idea of digital transformation that's kind of buzzword that encompasses more or less everything that we are going through. But you should understand a little bit. São Paulo is a big state. It's almost a country if you compare to Europe by the size. And we are spread around all the states. So we are far away, maybe 1,000 kilometers from São Paulo. We have some units there. So.
And with very varying levels of connectivity and so on.
So before internet, that became popular, we have this huge geographic problem, because you are very sparse. So we were one of the first that see the problem. For us, internet network is critical for everything.
And how do you go about deciding what needs updating or not? Because it's 34 campuses, right?
Yeah. The main issue is that, of course, nowadays you have this idea that some time ago we buy something for network. You have this idea that will remain forever. It's like buying an apartment or something like that. But nowadays we know that it's 5 to 7 years. So more or less you go in this time scale.
So eventually you need updating things, you need to update things, and you need partners to do that, which is a great segue to bring in our second guest, Eliezer Silveira, CEO at Roost. Welcome, Eliezer.
Hi, nice to meet you. It's great to be here with you guys, and welcome to Brazil, Anya.
Thank you.
It's great to have you here. Avoiding the weather, of course, but it will get better. I believe that.
Yeah, you bet. So tell us about your work with UNESP. It's a huge project, right? So tell us about your involvement.
Yes. So Roost started to work with UNESP this project many years ago, discussing technology, bringing some solutions for the challenges of the universe. And the idea of this project, and Dr. Professor Ney can add on, is that this project creates a strong pavement for UNESP to evolve new technologies. Because the main challenge of this project is to integrate in a way seamless the many campus of UNESP with top-of-the-edge technology. We are talking about one of the main manufacturers of the world with the incredible technology with a strong layer of security to allow UNESP to not just connect the campus, but also to add new technologies and support the development of the students. Because imagine if you have a robust network, and that's the idea of that, using Wi-Fi 6.0, using the best equipment and the strong layer of security, of course. This can support the development of new technologies, including AI, machine learning, VR, VA, robotics, and many things that I'm willing to see the students of UNESP and the campuses to develop and to evolve. And of course, with that, for us, it's a great pleasure because it's not just a project, but we are talking about working with one of the biggest universities of Brazil.
Sure.
And a topic really strong, that's education. That is, we know that this is the only way of the development of a country.
Right.
So connects like not just technology, but also purpose. And that's great for us.
Sure. A lot of IT leaders and providers, they when they find an estate the way it was before, they usually call it palo spaghetti. So is it what you found at UNESP? And give us a sense of what was it like back then and what is it like now?
Well, UNESP has always been a company, university that's always involved in technology. So they are truly, the challenge for us, honestly, is to support UNESP on the questions and the topics that they're already studying and thinking of. The challenge for us in this project is not to just, I don't say that we are solving a big problem, but the point here is that we are providing the answers that UNESP needs on technology to what they deserve and what they want.
Sure.
So because they already really evolved as a university, we were working with some great professors at UNESP, and they have the great questions. So we worked together with the manufacturer that was Extreme in this project, and involved also many developers from the United States to work together to answer the questions and to provide exactly what they need. So I would like to say that it's not just the case of it's not about a bad organization and a great presence, but I'm saying that it's more the development of a solution that can work for the future and the development of UNESP and their campuses and their students in the future.
Right.
So the idea is to evolve because we know, of course, many challenges on the sector, but it's good to talk with a customer like UNESP because it's a customer that is really connected and willing to have a really great solution. Every time that we work in a project with UNESP, it's always a challenge for us and a good challenge because it's a way that also we feel like we are being challenged to provide the best solution because they are a customer that they know exactly what they want and they are always searching for more and for a better solution. Of course, in putting this in a balance to work together, of course, with the budgets and everything together. But it's really good to work with UNESP in this project.
And speaking of challenges, would you be able to give us an example of something that you encountered? Something you encountered during this project that you needed to sit down and bring other partners to solve during this implementation? Of
course, we always have difficulties on this stuff. I think the main challenge for Brazilian institutions is to buy things. That's critical. It's the most challenging part of that. And buying things depends on a very thoughtful process of defining exactly what you want. And from our side, we have that, I think. And the other side should also provide that. And that's critical. They should understand what they are selling. Some companies do not know that. So they are not able to look at the specification and guarantee that what they are selling is compliant with that or not. That's the biggest challenge. Because once you have bought what you want, it's unbelievably easy. The implementation process was seamless. I mean, what happened? Nothing. I can't tell you anything. We have some issues, of course, internal issues. People that you have some campus of UNESP that are huge. There are farms, things like that. And you have to go from one side to other using cars or buses, things that are harder to access, things like that. But most of the time it was, for the point of network technology, it was very easy.
Professor, it sounds to me almost as if this was like a plug and play. Once you decided what you wanted, you bought it. Roost advised, Roost helped, Roost was there guiding you along. It sounds as though the actual implementation of it was really, really that simple.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's it. By the end of the day, that's it.
So your description of your campuses just conjures in my mind so many other institutions that I've been to around the world, particularly in developing countries.
Of course, it was very well planned. We worked a lot to guarantee that. I mean, that's not just my work, but the courage of the dean of the university to pay for that. That's something that's critical also because it's a huge.
So was it all down to planning, good planning?
Yeah. Yeah. And the simple idea here is homogeneity. That's the point. If you have a single solution for everybody, this makes everything simple. That's the point. What makes things complicated is that people buy heterogeneous stuff. And buying homogeneous is not easy. It's not easy because you have to have many things that should cooperate to do that, institutional stuff.
That makes a lot of sense. Speaking of solutions, could you explain what this difference in connectivity means for academics and students?
I think the most important thing is resilience. That's critical. Other thing that's critical for us is that's a multi-camp institute. We do a lot of meetings, many meetings, 10,000 meetings a month, something like that. So it's critical that have a good network to guarantee that. And most of the theses are not presential anymore, the defense. People go all around the country or the world, and they do that. So every time you have any problem in the network, anything, this thing gets disrupted, and you have lots of issues. And you have many meetings also for academic stuff. Everything depends on the network in this sense. And people now have a very good Wi-Fi access. That's critical for many things. I mean, nowadays quite magical. I mean, if you have AI, you just click and you have the answer. I mean, it's hard to fully understand the impact of all this. I mean, and you just need a stable network. I mean, that's critical stuff. That's the most revolutionary thing of all.
It's the foundation of everything, right?
I think that's the foundation. I mean, you can say robotics, you can say AR, you can say VR, you can say all of this stuff. But critical thing, the most important thing of all is resilience.
And good connectivity, right?
And good connectivity also is critical. And I believe that for people abroad, I mean, I think the situation in the US is quite different. I mean, Europe probably is different altogether. But here at Brazil, we have many difficulties here related to social problems, things like that cause problems on the internet. So
sure, we'll get into that in just a moment in our Pod Extra, and I'm sure you'll be able to share a lot of learnings that our listeners will be inspired by.
You know that feeling when someone shows up for you just when you need it most? That's what Uber is all about. Not just a ride or dinner at your door. It's how Uber helps you show up for the moments that matter. Because showing up can turn a tough day around or make a good one even better. Whatever it is, big or small, Uber is on the way. So you can be on yours. Uber, on our way.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
At Capella University, you can learn at your own pace with our FlexPath learning format. Take 1 or 2 courses at a time and complete as many as you can in a 12-week billing session. With FlexPath, you can finish the bachelor's degree you started in 19 months and under $19,000. A different future is closer than you think with Capella University. Learn more at capella.edu. Fastest 25% of students. Cost varies by pace, transfer credits, and other factors. Fees apply.
But I wanted to first get into the technical detail of this project. Eliezer, could you detail on what actually has been done? Was it, in effect, a complete overhaul of UNESP's IT systems?
It was focused on the networking, not the whole IT systems. So we're talking about routers, using of the best connectivity on Wi-Fi's with many access points connecting all the different campuses. One of the main challenges of this project was on the software that was managing all this. Right. So the solution that we worked together, and that was so important about what Professor Ney said about the planning. And that's why, Anya, it was, I can say, simple on the implementation, because when you had a good planning on that, is that we spent together with UNESP many months in advancing, discussing about what would be the best solution in the structure. It was like a project that I would like say that we were working with 6 hands. So UNESP leading the project as the customer of the project, Roost as an integrator using our best engineers in this planning, and Extreme with also their engineers discussing what would be the best solution, of course, in organizing what they need together with the budget and everything. But on something that was, of course, a really strong structure of hardware, including access points, all this structure, but also with a strong management system. And that's what's the big differentiation on that, because with this strong management system, UNESP can have all this information that Professor Ney was saying about, when a connection drop, what's happening, exactly what's happening, where it's happening, when it's happening, and how to solve this. And that's why the usage of a good system on the management was so important. And together on that, we worked, and that was one of the challenges of the project, on the security level about how to apply the changes. Because when you're talking about so many campuses, and we're having a lot of people working together this project. And that's one of the main challenges of a university this size, because, of course, the decision in this case was, of course, to unify the solution. But imagine that in each campus, you have teams that they're working on this control and the management of this network. Okay? So you need to have a strong management system that can work together with different rules to allow people to do the adjustments, the balancing, the correct balancing of the network and everything, and to use this in a way that you avoid to collapse the network or to apply something in a different campuses and all that. So the solution that we worked together was based on, of course, a strong hardware system, but a management system that would allow UNESP to have 100% control of the network and the management of that, to make it simple and easy. That's why when Professor Ney talks about the implementation as something easy or simple, let's say that, not easy, but simple, I think that's because it's a solution that is a homogeneous solution and with a strong management system.
Okay, and just to conclude, I'm curious to learn how long did that take? Because we hear a lot about big bangs and phased implementations. How was it like?
The challenge in the phasing of this is not just the implementation, but also we struggled a big challenge. I don't know if Professor Ney remembers this, because this project, we started to develop this in the middle of the chipset crisis. As you remember, we had, after the COVID, a big crisis on the delivery. So, of course, we had to work together. But, for example, the delivery of the products was getting delayed and all that because of that. So we had to work together with the manufacturer of the hardware to make sure that we can balance this. So the process, I don't know if I remember exactly the time frame, but it was long, but not just because of the implementation, because as Professor Ney said, the implementation was simple. It's not complex.
But you had a lot of externalities.
The externality, and we were able to support that, and we were able to work together with the suppliers to make sure that we can do that. But the main challenge of this project was because it happened exactly during the chipset crisis, worldwide chipset crisis.
It's really interesting to hear you saying how much planning went into this. And I'm kind of looking back on my university days, back to the 1990s. And, we were beginning to use email, and we had, numbers and letters. We didn't have our names, but we were using it. And the systems in the UK were put in bit by bit as the technology emerged. Well, you've come and kind of done it in one go and put the best in. So therefore, the university is equipped now to last, hopefully, and be stable for quite a long time. So if you look at the UK university network, that's unique in a number of ways. It's got things called the Janet network, Eduroam Wi-Fi, and it's focused on providing high-speed, reliable connectivity for research. Now, anybody who's in academia in the UK knows about Janet, Joint Academic Network. It's a very high-speed, privately owned network, provides internet access to all UK universities and colleges. And this is absolutely vital to the system. Eduroam is the secure global Wi-Fi network that allows students, staff and researchers to connect with each other, with their credentials, and obviously they have the high-speed connectivity. And then there's obviously the whole issue of cybersecurity, which we haven't yet touched on. And I think this is also a reminder, really, you touched upon it earlier, Eli, saying how important universities are to more than just research. It's about the economy. Often a university is going to be the biggest employer, isn't it? In a region, in a city, and it's vital for that. And it's vital, everything within that. You were talking about AI, VR, and the research and the new technologies developing there, but also other research. A lot of medical research is also depending on these new technologies that are also being developed. So you've got this whole kind of thing in tandem, the infrastructure, then the research, then back to the infrastructure. And it just sounds just astounding that you've managed to do this so smoothly. Mind you, I don't know why I'm surprised. It's possible. You've shown it's possible. It is incredibly impressive hearing about this.
Well, then let me add that we have a network before. I mean, that was quite working. So, I mean, don't have to change too much for that.
You're taking it to the next level.
Yeah. I mean, you have this thing that people start taking that for granted and start building upon that. I mean, if you don't have network, people don't think anything about network. But if you have network, why don't you use that for do something in a different way? I mean, you have this project at cancer. I mean, cancer tissue at my original seat that's called Botucatu. And what they have, you go there, you have to take a sample of your tissue. And the idea right now is instead of having just physicians looking at Botucatu, we can have people everywhere in the world. I mean, looking at that and saying that what kind of cancer do you have?
And this is real transformation, right?
And that depends essentially on network, because the main idea that is not to send the entire image for people abroad. I mean, they have a system, and the systems can operate quite well if you have good enough network. That's the point. And
it's quite fascinating to see the kind of things that good connectivity can enable, right? I just wanted to close with your comments, Professor, on what's the future look like in terms of what UNESP is looking to do with the foundation that Roost laid out for you.
Of course, as everybody else, we are trying to use AI, trying to figure out how to use that in a way that's meaningful, that provides good education. That's a big challenge for everybody. I believe that, of course, this depends critically on the good connections. I mean, people cannot have that on the cell phones. I mean, they need to connect the questions to somewhere and then get their answer back. And so for that, networks is quite important. We're also trying to improve security. I think that's something interesting. I mean, quantum networks, that's something that will become maybe more or less important in the future, in the sense that trying to communicate in a safe way between 2 points using quantum information techniques. We're trying to go in that direction. We are trying to improve the capacity of our networks. That's also critical for us. I believe that the most relevant part is that also classes. I mean, trying to do classes with people in different places also. Trying to improve that. During the pandemics, you have that, but that was quite, it's not a very good solution, but we're trying to improve on that too. Mm-hmm. So I believe that we have a very solid ground where we can build upon. That's something for sure. And that's why it was very, very important to have this collaboration. The biggest challenge for us right now is cybersecurity. That's for sure. That's complicated because it's well beyond our possibilities to guarantee security. I mean, for most of the organizations, for the universities also is the same issue, because you have very open, we have this idea of being open, you have to be open, and that poses serious difficulties for everything. And you have too many systems, you have too many different approaches, and security is a complicated issue.
Yeah, of course, and the cyber criminals are always one step ahead, it seems. So yeah, lots of work ahead of you.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, so we look forward to hearing more from you, in terms of what you get up to next with your brand new network.
Okay.
So thank you, Professor Ney Lemke from UNESP, and thank you, Eliezer Silveira, CEO at Roost. So that's it. Get in touch via hello@somewhereonearth.co or via WhatsApp on +44 7486 329 484. A huge thank you to the team at Your Cast Studios in São Paulo, where this edition of Somewhere on Earth was recorded by Alex and Lais. Production manager is Liz Tui. Our editor is Anya Licherovich. Somewhere on Earth is a proud partner of the Evergreen Podcast Network. Thank you for listening, and bye-bye.
Hi, everyone. It's Michael Calore, Director of Consumer Tech and Culture at Wired, here with my colleagues, Senior Writer Lauren Good.
Hello.
And Wired contributor Zoe Schiffer.
Hey, everyone.
We're here to tell you about our new podcast, Uncanny Valley, a show about the people, power, and influence of Silicon Valley.
Every week, we get together to talk about how technology and culture from the Valley is influencing our everyday lives.
We dig into questions like, will we ever get our privacy back? Is OpenAI for real? And how are Silicon Valley billionaires impacting U.S. elections?
The first episode of Uncanny Valley comes out on October 31st. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.